and my very special guest in the studio this afternoon is Charlotte Clare. And Charlotte has performed all around Australia and Asia with her band Montreux Jazz, and she really is an exceptionally talented singer, able to move easily from one musical genre to another. And Charlotte, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon.
Oh, you're welcome, John.
Well, your band Montreux Jazz was set up back in 2005. Tell us all about the band and how it started.
Well, Montreux Jazz was our vision. My husband and I were fortunate enough to land a job in a top jazz club in China, and that's where we met by fate, and we landed that job and stayed there for a year. And our concept was to take jazz standards and just re-originate them and give people a natural sort of fresh interpretation of them. And we continued doing that for 5 years, performing in residencies like the House of Blues and Jazz, Jay-Z Club, and they have a lot of chains all around the world. So we were the resident band for 3 to 4 months in those clubs, and we did 6 nights a week, and just loved it.
So did you actually live in Shanghai?
Yes, Shanghai was where most of the band is still based, apart from my husband Sam, and they're all there working in the jazz clubs and teaching as well in the day. They have a music school. So the Jazz City is like, they call it the New York of Asia.
Yeah, they love their jazz there. They've got some great venues too, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. The House of Blues and Jazz was our very first venue there that we performed at, and that was just fantastic. And from there, Jay-Z Club has 3 clubs around China in Beijing, and they now have a big music school, and they do a big music festival, jazz festival, twice a year. They had Dee Dee Bridgewater there last year, and it's great.
Well, every musician talks about a catalyst or a turning point in your career that leads to bigger and better things. Louis Shelton has worked with all of the great musicians around the world, and meeting him must have opened a lot of doors for you.
Oh, absolutely, John. Look, I've had a lot of rejection in this industry, particularly in Australia. Every talent show you could imagine, The Voice, this, that, all the rest, well, before The Voice was on. And it's been hard. You know, I even got A double plus at the Conservatorium for jazz, but I didn't get in. So I just went off and worked. And for me, the catalyst has definitely been being able to get some jobs overseas, and this upcoming position with Louis has been more than I could ever imagine. Having him say that he wants to work with me and produce albums has been amazing.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Louis recently about whether every singer needs to fall into a category of vocal styles, whether you need to be called a rock singer or a jazz singer. What would you call yourself? Are you purely a jazz singer, or do you feel like you have a broader musical style?
Definitely jazz is what's enabled me to call myself, I suppose, I'd like to say, a vocal technician, and that's an area that I've learnt from Bobby McFerrin and fantastic scat artists like Ella. But certainly all genres, it's a hard one, it's a tricky one, because I love Motown and soul. That's what I really grew up with, blues, but now jazz is such a huge part of me. I'd like to just say that my genre is good music.
Yeah. Well, when singers release CDs or perform in concert these days, they nearly always sing the standards like Cole Porter songs or Gershwin songs. Now, how do you go about leaving your own impression and interpretation on some of those great songs? One
of the best things that we've loved to do is rhythmically to rearrange these songs. We have a recording on naturalJazz.com that you can buy or listen to, and that's like Georgia in 6/8, for example. And this just gives the entire piece a different feel. Take a ballad like Nature Boy and playing it in 5/4 just gives you a little more space, and definitely changing the time signatures is one aspect, and then that allows you to either funk it up or give it a new style. And of course, the more artists that you listen to, the different versions that you get, that's going to allow you to really grow as an artist. And that's what I had to do, and just grab every live DVD, every concert, anything I can find, and get a new version from someone.
Well, what do you do to work on your voice to keep improving? Do you look at other artists and take some of their styles on board?
Absolutely. I was trained classically at school. I got a music scholarship at All Saints here on the coast, and I hated my singing lessons for years because it was all scales and I just didn't feel like I was learning anything. But it did really help, that classical foundation, to just providing a great technique that you can use in any genre. But certainly I've really learnt from studying my favourite artists. Ella is my teacher, and I watch her live DVDs every day. I watch her in concert, and I continuously learn. Every time I watch her, I go, okay, I have to watch this another 100 times.
Yeah, and she just made everything look so easy, didn't she?
No.
Yeah, well, you've got some exclusive news for our listeners. Now, what's happening?
Well, I'm very excited as, you heard yesterday, I just got the notification from the Montreux Jazz Festival that I've been selected to perform as part of their Shaw Montreux Jazz vocal competition. And this is a competition that was set up for professional young jazz singers of 35 years and under. So it is open next year if there are any young professional jazz singers out there that would like to enter next year. And the aim is not only to lend a helping hand to young music vocalists struggling for recognition, but to also enable them to meet singers of the same age and level from other countries.
So how do they select the singers? How did you get selected?
You have to, there's a list of songs, you have to pick some of the songs and send them off, and then you also have to send off an original jazz recording, which I did, and that was actually Year of Yearning, which is on the playlist here from Natural Jazz. So that's my one kind of real jazzy one that has an improvisation at the end. It's an original jazz tune of mine, and then you just send it off and hope for the best.
And you got the nod.
I got the nod. I couldn't believe it. After a lot of rejections and a lot other few things this week.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic news. Now, I believe you're given songs and you're judged on your own interpretation that you put on some of these songs. Is that right? How does it work?
Yeah, that's right. You have a list of, there's about 10 standards that we have to learn, and apparently these judges, which will consist of the likes of Quincy Jones and Al Jarreau, who have been past jurors, and Quincy's going to be there this year. Right. So I'm very excited.
Are they going to be, they'll be sitting there watching you, so you'll be watching them?
And some of the pieces are mainly instrumentals written by Miles Davis. So a lot of tunes that I thought were instrumentals, but they do actually have lyrics that have been written for these songs. So I have to learn all of them, and they'll pick whatever, and I have to get up on stage and sing them with the band and sing the song, give my own interpretation, do an improvisation, and then there's a battle off at the end as well with other singers.
Do you know some of the other singers who've been selected?
I have no idea. No, I don't know anyone, but there was thousands and thousands of entries, as you can imagine, from over 50 countries in the world, and there were 15 people selected for the finals. I've won a €2,000 Shure voucher to use for Shure products, and a brand new as well, a professional Shure microphone. So I'm very happy.
Fantastic. Well, how are you going to prepare for it? I guess you'll be talking to people like Louis and other musicians. Yeah,
fortunately a lot of the songs on the list, I didn't think I knew them because I didn't recognise the titles, but there are tunes that Sam's been playing with his band for a long time, and there are songs that I know. All I can do is learn, listen, and just continue to do what I do every day, which is why I love jazz, because you're a continuous, eternal student of jazz. It never ends.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, apart from the competition, the Montreux Jazz Festival is going to be a huge event with really a who's who of everybody in jazz. Do you think you'll get to meet some of these people? You'll certainly get to see them perform.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the finals are actually in the festival itself, so I will be performing on the grand stage of the festival, and the idea behind it is that there are jazz agents there, record company executives, promoters of all kinds that are there looking for the next big talent.
And that will be you.
Hopefully I can wow them. But I'm excited because improvising is definitely one of my strong features, and it was something that scared me to... Oh my God, it scared me so much in the first years when I first started gigging and playing in the clubs, because it's really something that you have to study and learn, and I don't know, it was a personal process for me. A lot of people have asked me how I could teach them to learn to scat, and all I can say is listen to Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Everything she did was just perfect and effortless. Wonderful singer. Well, we wish you every success in Montreux. I'm sure it's going to go really well. Lots of good networking. Yeah, I'm excited. And maybe we can even do a live from Montreux. Why not? I can jump on Skype, or I'll give you a call, and that'd be great. Fill you in on all the latest from the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland. Fantastic. Well, thanks, Charlotte. That's Charlotte Clare, live in the studio here at 12 to 5. And here's a track from Charlotte and Natural Jazz.